Good morning, everyone. My name is Jose Alviar Hinojosa. I am the statewide director of youth programs and lead immigration organizer at Unidos, Minnesota. I wish I were here under very different circumstances, but the truth and the reality is that our state is under attack by our own federal government. What we've experienced here in Minnesota since Operation Metro Surge has not been safety or security, but rather harm and pain to our communities. Their blatant disregard for human life and due process has caused harm and chaos in our communities, and we have witnessed that in every sector of our state, including our schools and institutions. With me today are students and parents who have witnessed this firsthand and who will share their stories momentarily. To my fellow Minnesotans, we can get through this. We have proven this time and time again by how we've shown up for one another. The Trump administration is trying to make an example out of Minnesota. But what they don't know is that in Minnesota, we care for one another. And what they also don't know is that in Minnesota, we are very well organized. Which is why, on Friday, January 23rd, we are calling for a day of truth and freedom. It is a day when every single Minnesotan will stand in solidarity and choose love and care for one another over hate and violence. And we will do so by refusing to work, to shop, and to go to school. To the rest of the country, we urge you to join us in this moment. We can build a different world and a different country. No one built on hate, but rather on love and care for one another. But that can't just be a dream. We will have to make a choice. Can we include everybody? Can we build it? And are we going to be serious about it? Thank you.
Hi, my name's Luca. I am a high school student at Roosevelt. I'm 15 years old. On, I think it was Wednesday, I was at school and I heard the news about Renee Good. It horrified me, it frightened me, and it made me very angry because it was the first ICE killing I'd heard about. Then later that day when I got home, I heard that ICE had been to our school, tear gassed students, and assaulted teachers, and it made me even more angry. I knew some action needed to be taken. So I reached out to my friend Clover to organize a walkout. And I organized a walkout with her. We planned it originally for Friday, but school got canceled because no one felt safe with law enforcement around and what the law enforcement had been doing. So we moved it back to Monday, and on Monday when I showed up at school, all classrooms felt so empty, and there wasn't the same life that there had been in school because so many Somali and Latino families weren't there, my friends and classmates. Then later in the day, when we were going for the walkout, I felt so grateful because of the amount of people that showed up. I'm so grateful to my community members that supported me and all the kids that showed up to protest against all the things that ICE had been doing.
My name is Blair, and I'm a college student at Minneapolis Community and Technical College. I'm here today to demand on behalf of my fellow students that ICE cease operations in our beautiful state. Being born and raised in Minnesota, one thing I've always been proud of is our rich mix of cultures. It's what makes us what we are. Something our federal government forgets is that most of us are immigrants to this land. My classmates are having their right to higher education impeded upon because ICE agents are harassing them while they're just trying to get to class. Students who are parents themselves with traumatized children at home because ICE were at their school as well. The safety of our students should be the most important thing, and the people running this country only care about money, which is why we're calling for a general strike. I urge all of you to participate on Friday, January 23rd. No work, no school, no shopping. We are stronger together. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Becca Dryden. I'm a parent of elementary schoolers and a parent organizer with Minneapolis Families for Public Schools. Today, I want to share with you a glimpse of what it is like to be a Minnesota public school parent at this moment. Parents, teachers, and community members are putting in so much work to keep our kids safe and cared for at school while violent forces invade our city. Whether it's watching over dismissal, driving kids to school, or delivering food, our community has shown up to protect our kids. But there's only so much we can do while destructive, untrained, heavily armed strangers infiltrate our neighborhoods. Recently, I was alerted to the presence of 2 ICE vehicles idling just outside my child's school. In the space of minutes, people moved into action. The school was notified and kept students indoors, while neighbors came out to alert the community, observe, and document. The ICE vehicles circled the block erratically, speeding, running red lights, and driving over a sign and a median, before entering an alleyway and abducting an individual and threatening bystanders with violence. Thankfully, this was not when kids were walking home from school, but about an hour prior to dismissal. The mere presence of ICE and their clear disregard for the safety of our communities puts everyone in danger. Danger that is particularly cruel to the most vulnerable in our communities, like our children. As a parent, it was heartbreaking to have to explain to my son this week that it wasn't safe for him to walk the few blocks home from school to his friend's house. Instead of talking about his upcoming spelling bee, we've been talking about why some of his classmates aren't in school right now. My kids are asking why these agents of government are allowed to break the law and why no one is stopping them and keeping us safe. I remind them that our community is standing up to keep our neighbors safe. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. I and all of us up here are demanding that ICE leave our city, state, and our schools. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alejandro. I'm a student at the University of Minnesota, and school is officially in session. Today is the first day of my last semester, but I'm here. I'm here at the capital of Minnesota, having to figure out how to balance the anxieties that come with being a student and the fear of being beaten on the way to school because of the way that I look and the way that I speak. It's hard to believe everything that we've gone through here in the state of Minnesota. But if everything has proven anything, it has proven our resilience and the strength we have shown in our unity. We know it's not a fair fight out there. We have innocent mothers and fathers and our brothers and sisters standing up to the face of these ICE agents who have made it clear that we are all in danger and that no one is safe. Someday, I will become a doctor, but today, because of ICE impeding on my education, I cannot focus on that dream. Today, I'm busy fighting for my freedom and fighting for my safety. So please join us on January 23rd for the Day of Truth and Freedom and march with us. Bring your friends, bring your family, and bring those you love. Don't go to school, don't go to work, and don't buy anything. Because we have to stand up and protect our Fourth Amendment right, end federal funding of ICE, and bring justice for the family of Renee Nicole Good, and get ICE out of Minnesota.
Good morning, all. My name is Angeline, and I will not be sharing my last name out of fear of doxing because I'm part of a mixed status family. On January 18th, a U.S. citizen was pulled into below zero weather in only boxers and Crocs by ICE agents. He had no criminal record and is described by his family as very sweet and couldn't hurt a fly. They broke into his house without identification, but with guns drawn in front of his 4-year-old grandson. Innocent people are getting arrested in front of high schools, churches, workplaces, and from their own homes and murdered. Murdered while saying, "I'm not mad at you." Students of all ages don't feel safe to go to class, let alone go outside in the first place. I don't feel safe to be in the city I was born and raised in. The people of Twin Cities are terrified to live their lives. Jonathan Ross is not being investigated, and horrendous racial profiling continues to happen daily in the Twin Cities by ICE, endangering countless lives. This inhumane, cruel, and profoundly unjust treatment must end. ICE must leave Minnesota immediately. Join us on January 23rd to stand up for truth and demand accountability. Stand up for your neighbors, community, and for yourselves. No school, no work, no shopping. We need action now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aru Shaini Ajay. I'm the Executive Director of the Sunrise Movement, a youth movement to stop authoritarianism and win a livable future for all of us. ICE's surge in Minneapolis is about intimidation and division. It's about trying to get ordinary Minnesotans to believe that we should be blaming each other instead of blaming the fact that an administration is stripping us of our wages and of our rights. But what Minnesota has shown me in the last week and a half is that we will not stand for that. Over and over again, I see tremendous acts of bravery, organizing networks unlike anything I've seen in my lifetime, signal chats that can respond to emergencies within minutes. And I've seen students be so brave. Students who have seen their classmates live in fear of deportation, students who've seen their classmates have to stay home, students who've gotten tear gassed, decide that they would rather organize, they would rather stand up to what is happening than to stay home in fear. So many people have been leading acts of bravery. They've been leading walkouts at high schools across the cities. There were walkouts at Edison, at Central, at Roosevelt. And what we are seeing over and over again is that when we choose courage and solidarity, we are able to actually scare the people who are trying to intimidate us. This Friday, on January 23rd, thousands of Minnesotans are going to be staying home from work, staying home from school, and refusing to shop. This is the way that we can leverage our power as ordinary people. Donald Trump thinks that he can intimidate us by using guns pointed at our faces. But the truth is that ordinary people run this country. And this Friday, we're going to show that. I hope you join us.
We will be opening it up for a couple of questions. We do have to get these students back to school, of course. So we will probably take 3 or 4 questions here.
Can we get Luca? What kind of impact did it have at Roosevelt?
So many students were missing. A lot of finals had been canceled because everything was so stressful that was happening, and everyone was scared to even talk about it.
Can you talk about what it was like for you to maybe find out that a former governor, Jesse Ventura, attended your school, showed up, the video of him went viral, taking on ICE, taking on the president's administration? What does it mean to have that kind of attention brought?
I didn't know about that attention.
Okay.
Can you tell a story about any of these students, about a time when a classmate all of a sudden didn't show up to school? What was your reaction? What was your concern? Does anybody have an example of that?
Sure. So when I came to school, I found lots of friends and classmates missing. It felt scary. It felt like I understood that no one wanted to come to school because of how scared they felt and about being abducted. And I couldn't imagine what they were going through. And having to miss out on an education just because people are coming to school and abducting you shouldn't be happening.
Could somebody talk about the economics when someone said the only thing that matters is business and money, and what Friday is about, the message that sends, that connective point?
Do you know?
Describe that further.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, on January 23rd, many people are actually calling it a general strike. I think now more than ever, we have to make it very obvious that as Minnesotans, we're not going to stand for this. And one of the leverages of power that we do have at our disposal is not just people power, but also money. And we're going to use that to ensure that as Minnesotans, we're refusing what is happening here in our state. And again, we are urging other parts of our country to also stand with us and fight back in this economic strike as well. Thank you.
To the students up here, are there any aspects, or what are the aspects of your daily life that have been upended that people might not be considering as you're trying to get an education? Didn't mean to ask.
Do you want to repeat the question, just?
What aspects of your daily education have been upended that people might just not be considering? You know, everybody sees the raids and everything like that and the present danger, but what about for your education?
It's every aspect. It's from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. It's fear, it's anxiety, and it affects every moment I have. If I want to study for exam, the only thing I can think of is what's happening down the street. So, yeah, it's everything.
Alejandro, while you're there, is this going to change the way you move about the campus or change your daily routine or change how you get to classes? I mean, are you at that point?
Definitely. Even considering what I carry with me, making sure I carry my IDs and make sure I have identification, make sure people know where I am at all times, is the first things that I've done to prepare.
For any of the students or parents, is this something that any of the teachers have openly supported or talked to you all about not attending school on Friday?
No teachers are really allowed to talk about that because, you know, they're part of the district and the district doesn't want to take sides.
Where are you gonna march around at, or is this downtown Minneapolis?
Yes, downtown Minneapolis. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much. We have sent information just through email as well for the speaker list as well. Thank you very much for your time.